Take two, part two. I went to a K through 8 school when I was a kid, 20 years ago. 27, 28 years ago. I'm 34 now. I started there when I was 6 years old. So 28 years ago. I started kindergarten, in the first full day kindergarten class at what was a K through 6 school for a couple of years. And then it became a K through 7 when I was in first grade and a K through 8 when I was in second grade. It had passed a levy. So there was no middle school in that neighborhood. It was, the nearest 3 middle schools were multiple zip codes away and only accessible by school district provided school buses. A little bit far for a lot of people in that neighborhood, limiting perhaps extracurricular activities or after-school sports, after-school clubs, resources that kids could have had access to, etc. When I was in 3rd grade, the bullying began. I had a speech impediment beforehand. No one noticed. But in 3rd grade, I got a retainer. 5, 6, maybe 10 other kids got retainers that year too. But my speech impediment somehow was the one being made fun of the most. The R word was thrown at me on a daily basis. The teachers. They didn't care. The teacher, my 3rd grade teacher was Miss Stokes. Mrs. Stokes. Linda Stokes? Anita Stokes? I don't remember her first name. It was Linda or Anita. She wore frumpy, floral, early 90s skirts, dresses, lots of weird floral kitchen aprons, lots of men's pinstripe long sleeve button down shirts. Lots of aprons. She had a tall painter stool at the front of the classroom. She had good posture. She used older, one of those very, 1950s to the 1990s, those ginormous wooden framed chalkboards on caster wheels. And, it weighed like 200, 300 pounds. I always thought those were so overkill. The year was 99, 2000. Let's see. 4th grade. So yeah, 3rd grade, she established the pecking order that would follow us all the way up to 8th grade. Even into the high school years. I don't know if she did that on purpose or subconsciously, but she did. That pecking order impacted who was who, what the status quo was, the social hierarchy. 4th grade was an okay year. I remember actually more of the positives than the negatives. 5th grade, the bullying got a lot worse. More the R word, retard, ed, by itself or with that 3rd syllable. A lot of making fun of me for sleeping in class. I'm just a person who gets bored easily, and my brain, instead of daydreaming, goes straight into sleep mode. I'm like a computer that's always defragging. So yeah. 6th grade, the bullying definitely took a turn for the worse. I have a lot of it written down, but I remember a new kid came that year. His name was Ian Bryson. If you know an Ian Bryson in Seattle, say hi to him for me. He won't remember me. But he threw basketballs at my head constantly in PE class. He thought it was funny. And the PE teachers, they told me to suck it up. And maybe because he had a crush on me. The fuck? No. You don't make excuses for violence that is intentional. You don't suggest, oh, maybe he has a crush on you. So you're saying that's a good way to tell someone that you have a crush on them? and you're dismissing it as childish antics. Kids will be kids, boys will be boys, girls will be girls. Oh, you're just too oversensitive. The PE teachers wrote that about me in my progress reports. It's on paper, and I have it as proof. I guess the statute of limitations is well past its expiration date for financial punitive reimbursement. Seventh grade, they started slapping me in the face. The school didn't really have cameras at that time, and if they did, they were like in the main office, and maybe at the front lobby, maybe at the back door to the kindergarten, lower elementary grades, recess, exit. But there weren't really cameras back then. It was just kind of a whatever. Oh, no one saw it. No one witnessed it. Must have not happened. Administrators and teachers who work in public schools, open your eyes. Open your eyes. It's happening. Whether you want to believe it or not. Just because a camera didn't see it doesn't mean a tree didn't fall in the forest. Wake up. You know what's happening because you were in middle school. You were in high school. You know the bullying is there. You know there's a witness somewhere, everywhere. But because kids are kids, and kids sometimes don't know fact from fiction, or their brains block out something and make something up new, that sometimes kids are not the most reliable witnesses. They change their stories because they're not sure what is right or what is wrong. But I guess that works in your favor, doesn't it? 7th grade. They broke my bike. I don't remember if it was a school day or a weekend. But everyone was all in front of the school, and, might have been in the evening, might have been a weekend. It was a day after a bad rainstorm. A lot of trees lost their branches. A lot of debris, a lot of big sticks. All on the ground, all on the sidewalks. They jammed the tree branches and old fallen twigs that hadn't been cleaned up yet by the city services or whatever into the spokes of my bike, into my chain, into my pedals. They fucked up my bike. Mind you, that bike was a hand-me-down from my older sister, who rarely ever rode it. I started riding it when I was in 4th grade. And she had outgrown it well by then. By the time she was in 7th grade, she'd outgrown that bike. But, they damaged it and they broke it. My dad took me bike shopping, I think, a weekend or two later. And I got a new bike that lasted me about 5.5, 6 years, and that bike was my best friend. It was more reliable than humans. More reliable than other kids my age. Bike riding was my creative outlet as long as it wasn't raining. And I wasn't scheduled to babysit someone's toddlers, and I wasn't going to a friend's house of somebody I actually liked to be with. Especially on weekends, my mom would start vacuuming my bedroom at 9 a.m. Get up! Get going! Get going! Get going! Get going! I don't even know what that means. It's my mom's immature way of saying I have control and you're my prison bitch. So I would get going, and I would get out. I'd get dressed. I would grab my wallet, my backpack, or water bottle, my helmet, my gloves, get on my bike and not come home for like 5 or 6 hours until the streetlights turned on. This was in the day before cell phones. So I always had a pocket change to use a payphone. Or I'd stop by friends' houses, or I'd just ride and ride and ride and ride and to my heart's content. As I got older, I would ride my bike farther away. I'd ride my bike to downtown or up to Seattle Center, and then I'd use the bike racks on the buses to go anywhere and everywhere. Or I'd ask my parents to let me stay at Grandma's house for a weekend. Let me take my bike with me or my Razor scooter. Usually my Razor scooter, sometimes my bike. Sometimes not my bike. My bike was big. Took up space in the car. But the bullying was something else. Anyways, that's the end of part 2.